What happens when I tell my husband I will leave him at the gas station, and later I get served papers in front of my coworkers? How did one joke I filmed for laughs turn into a legal result that started the same day? Can I still call him the villain when the documents list dates, times, and proof? My name is Evadne Price. I was 33, and I worked in marketing for a mid-sized company. I like to say I was practical and strong. I also like to say I carried the whole house on my back. If you ask my husband Ethan, he would say I carried stories, not weight. He did not say that in a loud way. He did it with silence, and I hated that kind of quiet. That day started like many others. We had a small family plan, a simple one. We would drive to see my parents for dinner, then come back home before it got too late for Mila. Mila was 7. She was the kind of kid who watched faces more than words. If I smiled too hard, she knew it was fake. If Ethan looked down at the road for too long, she knew he was thinking. In the morning, Ethan had asked if we could keep the day calm. He had said he did not want another scene. I answered like I always did when he tried to set rules. I told him I was not the one who made scenes. I said he pushed me until I snapped. I said I needed him to stop acting like I was some problem to manage. At work, I kept checking my phone. I told myself it was because I had a lot going on. It was also because one person kept sending me messages that made me feel light. Cole Ramirez worked with our regional sales team. He was not my type in the normal sense. He was not steady. He was not safe. But he made me feel chosen. When Ethan did the quiet, Cole did the attention. That difference felt like proof to me, like evidence that Ethan was failing. Cole had asked how my day was going. I had told him I was dealing with a moody husband again. I said Ethan got upset over nothing. I did not mention my own tone. I did not mention how I tested Ethan when I felt bored. I never called it testing. I called it checking if he still cared. By late afternoon, we were on the road. Mila sat in the back with a small snack and a drawing pad. Ethan drove. He kept both hands on the wheel, like the car was something fragile. I watched him from the passenger seat and felt annoyed by how calm he looked. Calm made him look right. Calm made me look like the storm. I brought up the dinner plan and said we would be late because he drove too slow. He said we had time. I told him he always moved like life was a checklist. He asked what I wanted from him. I said I wanted a husband, not a manager. He asked why I was being sharp. I said I was tired of being treated like I was wrong all the time. He said he did not treat me like that. I said he did, and I listed small things. I said he asked where I went. I said he checked our bank app. I said he watched my moods like I was a chart. He said he only asked because our schedules were messy lately. I said the schedules were messy because he did not help enough. That was not true. Ethan cooked often. Ethan did school pickups when he could. Ethan paid bills on time. He did a lot. But he did not do the one thing I wanted. He did not chase me. He did not beg. He did not shake with fear that I would leave. He had loved me in a steady way, and that steady love stopped feeding my ego. We pulled into a highway gas station right before dusk. The lights were bright and cold. The air smelled like fuel and fast food. Ethan said we should fill up now so we would not stop later. I said he always chose the worst times to do things. He asked if I could please not start another fight. I heard please and felt power rise in me. I did not admit that. I told myself I was simply standing up for myself. Mila asked if she could use the restroom. Ethan said yes and parked by a pump. He got out and started the fuel. I stayed in my seat and watched him. He looked normal. That made me angry. I wanted him to look guilty. I wanted him to look like the villain in my head. When Ethan came to my door and asked if I could take Mila inside, I did not move right away. I said he could do it because he was the one who wanted to stop. He said Mila needed me too. I told him he was using Mila to control me. I said he did not care about Mila. only about looking like a good dad in public. He asked why I kept saying things like that. I told him because it was true. I said he cared about appearances more than feelings. I saw a man at the next pump glance over. I noticed it and made it part of my story in my head. I thought, good, someone sees how tense Ethan makes me. Ethan asked if we could talk later. I said, later never came. I said he always delayed until I forgot. Then I did the thing that still makes my stomach turn when I remember it. I told Ethan I could leave him right there. I said it like it was a joke, like I was a comedian in my own marriage. I lifted my phone and held it in my lap, angled up. I told myself I was not recording, but my screen was on. My thumb was ready. I wanted proof of him acting bad. I wanted a clip I could show later. I told myself it was for safety, but it was for control. Ethan looked at me for a long second. He did not yell. He did not slam the door. He did not say anything wild. He asked if I really wanted to do that. I said he was being dramatic. I said he always made everything heavy. I said it was just a sentence. Mila opened her door in the back and asked if we were going inside. Her voice was small. She looked from Ethan to me, like she was reading weather signs. Ethan told Mila they would go inside. He said I could stay if I needed a minute. He did not even say it with anger. That made me feel like I was losing. If he got angry, I could point and say, see, this is him. But he was calm. He was careful. I pushed the door open and stood up fast, like I was making a statement. I told him again that I could leave him there, and I added that he would deserve it. I thought the words would make him chase me. I thought he would panic and apologize. He did not. He took Mila's hand and walked toward the mini-mart. He kept his shoulders straight. He did not look back. The man at the next pump looked again, and this time his face showed discomfort, not support. I pretended it was still support. I needed it to be. I sat back down in the passenger seat and felt heat in my cheeks. My phone was still in my hand. I stared at the screen and felt a hard mix of victory and fear. I told myself Ethan was trying to punish me with silence. I told myself I was right to push back. But deep down, a smaller thought came up, quiet and sharp. What if he was not chasing because he was done chasing? Ethan came back from the mini-mart with Mila a few minutes later. He carried a small bottle of water and a pack of wipes like nothing happened. Mila held a little snack bag and looked down at her shoes. Ethan asked if I was ready to go. I said I was ready, but I said it in a cold way, like he had failed a test. He started the car and pulled out. He did not lecture me. He did not beg. He did not even ask me to say sorry. That silence felt like a wall. I told myself he was trying to control me with calm. I told myself he wanted me to feel guilty. I decided I would not give him that win. On the road, Ethan asked if we should still go to my parents' dinner. I said we should, because cancelling would make me look bad. He said he did not care about looking bad. I said he always pretended he did not care, but he cared the most. He asked what I meant. I said he liked being the good one, so people would blame me. Mila asked if we could listen to music. Ethan said yes and turned on a kid's playlist. I watched him in the side mirror. His face was flat, but his jaw was tight. I liked that I could see the tension. It felt like proof that I mattered. When we arrived at my parents' house, my mum opened the door fast. Janine always moved like she was stepping onto a stage. She asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. She looked at Ethan and asked why he looked so serious. Ethan said he was just tired from the drive. I interrupted and said he got upset at the gas station over nothing. I said it lightly, like a funny story. My mum laughed the way I wanted. She asked what happened. I told it with my best voice, the one that sounds calm and reasonable. I said Ethan was acting moody and I told him he could stay there if he wanted to. I said it was a joke. I left out the part where I held my phone. I left out the part where I wanted him to chase me. My dad, Rick, watched me for a moment. He asked if Mila heard that. I said kids hear everything anyway. Ethan said Mila was fine. His tone was careful, like he was holding a glass that could break. That made me angry again. I wanted him to spill. At dinner, my sister Taryn asked if Ethan was still doing his quiet thing. I said yes. I said he liked to punish me by not talking. Ethan heard it and looked at his plate. He did not correct me. He did not defend himself. That made my story feel true because no one challenged it. My mom asked Ethan if he was mad at me. Ethan said he was not mad, just concerned. He said we had been tense lately, and he wanted peace for Mila. I rolled my eyes and said he loved saying peace like it was a slogan. I said he only wanted peace if it meant I stayed small. My mum nodded like she understood. Taryn smiled in a way that told me she was on my side. I felt warm inside. I felt like I was winning the room. I told myself this was fairness. I told myself Ethan deserved it because he did not give me what I needed. After dinner, we drove home in quiet. Mila fell asleep in the back. Ethan kept his eyes on the road. When we got home, he carried Mila inside without waking her. I followed and watched him place her backpack by the door and hang his jacket. He moved like a person who had a plan. In the kitchen, I opened the fridge and stared inside without choosing anything. Ethan washed his hands and wiped the counter. 2 mugs sat on opposite sides of the sink from earlier. I noticed, and it felt like a signal. He asked if I wanted tea. I said no. He asked if I wanted to talk. I said there was nothing to talk about if he kept acting like a victim. He asked what I wanted from him. I said I wanted him to stop judging me. He asked how he judged me. I said his face judged me. I said his silence judged me. He looked down, then he asked if we could set some ground rules so Mila would not hear our fights. I said he was using Mila again. He said he was not using her, he was protecting her. He walked to the hallway and paused near the guest room door. He said he would sleep there tonight. I asked why he was doing that. He said he needed space to think. I said he was trying to punish me. He said it was not punishment, it was a boundary. A few minutes later, I heard a soft hum from the printer in the office corner. Then it stopped. When I walked past, I saw a blank page on the tray like it had fed through and printed nothing. I felt a small flash of fear, then I pushed it away. I told myself he was just being dramatic. The next morning at work, I walked in with a story ready. I did not even think of it as lying. I thought of it as managing damage. In the break room, a coworker asked if I looked tired. I said I had a rough night because my husband was acting controlling again. She asked what happened. I said he got upset because I made a simple joke. I said he could not handle humor. I pulled up my phone and showed a short clip from the gas station. It was a few seconds long. You could see Ethan walking toward the mini-mart with Mila. You could not hear anything. I said he walked away in the middle of a conversation. I said he always did that to make me feel crazy. The coworker frowned and said it looked cold. I said, exactly. I said he used silence as a weapon. I watched her face and felt satisfied when she nodded. Later, at my desk, I opened a message from Cole. He asked how my night was. I said it was stressful. He asked if my husband was being difficult again. I said yes. I wrote that Ethan made me feel alone even when he was in the room. Cole replied fast. He said I deserved better. He said I was too young to feel trapped. I felt my chest lift like I could breathe. At lunch, Cole suggested we meet for coffee near the office. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself it was just talking. I told myself Ethan pushed me into it by being cold. When I left, I texted Ethan that I had a last-minute meeting. He replied with one line. He said, "Okay, thanks for telling me." That reply made me angry. I wanted questions. I wanted jealousy. I wanted him to fight. I stared at my screen and felt my control slipping. I told myself I would take it back in another way. That evening, after Mila went to bed, I sat on the couch and watched my gas station clip again. My thumb hovered over post. I told myself I was warning people. I told myself I was building a support network. Then I posted it with a vague caption about, When your partner can't handle a joke. Within minutes, likes started coming in. Comments followed. Some people asked if I was okay. Some people said Ethan looked rude. I answered the ones that fed my story. I ignored the ones that asked what I said first. From the hallway, I heard a small beep from Ethan's phone, then another beep, like an alarm. He walked past with a calm face and a sticky note in his hand that said, "Bring forms." He did not look at me. He went into the guest room and closed the door softly. The next day, my post was still getting comments. I checked it between tasks like it was part of my job. In my head, it was. If people saw Ethan as cold, then I could breathe. If people saw me as brave, then my choices felt clean. In the office, I walked past Cole's desk area and felt that small pull in my chest. He had asked if I wanted to get a drink later with some people he knew. I said yes too fast, then I told myself it was normal. I told myself I needed friends, and Ethan had made me lonely. Ethan texted me around midday and asked what time I would be home. I said I did not know yet because work was busy. He asked if Mila should eat with him first. I said yes, and I added that I hoped he could handle one simple routine. He did not reply with anger. He just said, okay. That night, Ethan fed Mila and helped her with homework while I got ready. I changed outfits twice. I told myself I was doing it for confidence. I was also doing it for attention. In the kitchen, Ethan asked where I was going. I said it was a work thing. He asked who would be there. I said coworkers. He asked if Cole would be there. I said yes, because he worked with us, and I made my tone sound tired, like Ethan was being unreasonable. Ethan asked why his question made me upset. I said he was acting controlling again. I said I was not his child. He said he was not trying to control me. He said he just wanted honesty. I laughed once, short and sharp, and told him honesty was rich coming from him, because he always hid behind silence. Mila came into the room with her pajamas on and asked if I would read with her. I said I could not because I had to go. She asked if I would be back before she slept. I said maybe. Ethan told Mila he would read with her. Mila looked at me like she wanted a promise, but I did not give one. I told myself she needed to learn I had a life too. On the way out, I saw a folder on the counter. It was plain, but it had a label that said Utilities. Next to it was another folder that said Bank. I asked Ethan why he was organizing like that now. He said it was just easier. I said it was weird. He said he wanted to be prepared for anything. I told him he was being dramatic. He did not argue. He just watched me put on my shoes, like he was memorizing the moment. The rooftop bar was loud and bright. People stood close together, and the air smelled like sweet drinks and perfume. Cole was there with 2 coworkers I knew, and 2 I did not. One woman asked if I was Ethan's wife. I said yes. She asked where he was. I said he stayed home because he could not handle social stuff. I made it sound like a flaw in him, not a choice. Cole asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, but I added that my husband was in one of his moods. Cole said I deserved to relax. He said it like a compliment, like I was a prize that had been ignored. I felt my face warm. I told myself it was harmless. A friend from my side, Kendra, showed up later. She had seen my post and asked what happened at the gas station. I told her again, with the same careful details that made Ethan look bad and made me look patient. She asked if Ethan had always been like this. I said yes. I said he started sweet, then turned cold. I did not mention that I had been cutting him down for months. I did not mention that I liked watching him shrink. Kendra asked if I ever thought about leaving him. I said I thought about it all the time, because I deserved peace. Cole heard that and smiled like it was an invitation. I noticed, and I liked that he noticed. People started taking pictures. Someone tagged me in a short video. In it, I was laughing and leaning close to Cole to hear him over the music. It looked friendly, but I knew how it could look if someone wanted to see it another way. I pushed that thought away. I told myself Ethan did not get to question me after how he treated me. Later, Cole asked if I wanted to step to the side for air. I said yes. We stood near the rail, and the city lights looked like small, sharp points. Cole asked how long I had felt unhappy. I said a long time. He asked if Ethan ever apologized. I said no, even though Ethan had apologized many times in small ways. I did not count those apologies because they did not come with fear. Cole said he would never treat me like that. I said Ethan used to say things like that too. Cole asked what I meant. I said men always change once they feel safe. I said maybe the problem was that I made Ethan too safe. That sentence should have scared me, but it did not. It made me feel smart. It made me feel like I was watching the game from above. When I got home, it was late. The living room light was off. The kitchen light was on low. Ethan sat at the table with a laptop open. The screen showed rows and columns like a simple spreadsheet. I could not see the title. I could only see dates and short notes. He looked up when I walked in, then looked back down like he was finishing something important. He asked how the work thing went. I said it was fine. He asked if I had fun. I said he did not get to judge how I spent my time. He said he was not judging. He said he wanted to know what was happening in our life. I said our life was boring because he made it boring. He asked why I posted that clip. I said because I had a right to share my experiences. He asked if I thought it was fair to show him without context. I said he did not need context because his behavior spoke for itself. He asked what I wanted people to think. I said I wanted people to see the truth. Ethan closed the laptop halfway, but not all the way. I heard a soft beep from his phone, like a recording had stopped or started. I froze for a second. He noticed my face and asked what was wrong. I said nothing. I said he was being creepy. He asked how he was being creepy. I said he was tracking me. He took a breath and said he was not tracking me. He said he was keeping notes because he felt confused, and he wanted clarity. I laughed and told him he always needed control. He asked if I could stop calling it control when it was basic structure. I said structure was just another word for making me small. He stood up and carried his mug to the sink. There were 2 mugs again, spaced apart like markers. He rinsed his mug and set it on his side. He asked if I would sleep in our room tonight. I said yes, like it was a victory. He nodded once and said he would stay in the guest room again. As he walked down the hall, I heard a drawer open and shut, then a small click like a lock. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself I was still in charge. But when I went to the table, the laptop screen was still glowing. The spreadsheet was there for a second. Then it went dark, like it timed out, and my own reflection stared back at me. The next morning, I woke up with a tight feeling in my throat. I told myself it was stress from Ethan's attitude, not guilt from my own choices. Ethan was already up. He had made Mila's lunch and placed it in her bag like it was a normal day. He asked if I wanted coffee. I said no, because I did not want kindness. Kindness made it harder to keep my story clean. He asked if we could talk after work. I said we had talked enough and nothing changed. He said he needed clear plans for Mila's week. I said he was acting like a manager again. He said he was acting like a parent. I rolled my eyes and told him he loved that word when it made him look good. At the office, I moved like I owned the place. I wore a bright smile and let people think I was brave. A coworker asked how my home life was. I said it was complicated, and I said my husband was punishing me with silence. She asked what I meant. I said he shut down and tried to make me feel crazy. I did not say I had pushed him until he learned to stop reacting. In the copy room, my phone buzzed with Cole's name. He asked if I could meet for coffee during lunch. I said yes and told him I needed a break. I told myself it was not cheating if I was only talking. I knew that was a fake rule, but fake rules were my specialty. When I printed some papers, the printer spit out a blank page first. The page looked clean and innocent, and it annoyed me because my life was not clean. I threw it away and watched it fall like a small lie. Then I noticed the copier log screen showing timestamps for recent jobs. I felt a quick spike of worry. Then I told myself nobody cared. At noon, I walked to a coffee shop 2 blocks away. Cole was already there. He stood up when he saw me, like I was important. He asked if I had slept okay. I said no because my husband kept acting cold. Cole asked if Ethan was still mad about the gas station. I said Ethan was always mad, and I said he used calm as a weapon. Cole asked what I wanted. I said I wanted peace and respect. He said I deserved both. He asked if I ever thought about leaving. I said I had thought about it, but Ethan made it hard because he played the victim. I said that like it was truth. Cole talked about how some men like to own their wives. I nodded too quickly. I wanted that label for Ethan because it made me look like I had no choice. Cole asked if Ethan checked my phone. I said he tried. That was not true. Ethan had not touched my phone. He had only asked questions that made my timeline messy. When Cole reached across the table to touch my hand, I let it happen for a second. I told myself it was comfort. I told myself Ethan had pushed me into needing comfort. Then my phone lit up with a text from Ethan asking if I could pick up Mila today because he had a late task at work. I felt cornered. I told Cole I had to go soon. Cole asked if I was okay. I said yes and smiled like nothing mattered. Back at work, I moved fast so nobody would see the change in my face. In the open plan area, my manager asked if I could stay late for a client draft. I said yes, then I felt a strange relief. Staying late gave me an excuse. Excuses were shields. Around 3, Taryn texted me and asked if Ethan was really as bad as I said. She said she saw my post and it felt harsh. I told her she did not understand what it was like living with a man who tried to control everything. She replied that Ethan had always seemed calm. I said calm could be the worst kind of control. I added a sad face emoji to make it look soft. At 5, Ethan texted again and asked if I could confirm Mila's pickup time. I said I would handle it. He sent a thumbs up and nothing else. That made me angry again. I wanted a fight, because a fight would help my story. His quiet made me doubt my own script. When I got to the school pickup line, the sun was low, and the cars crawled forward slowly. I watched other parents laugh and talk. I felt like everyone was looking at me, even though they were not. Mila ran out and climbed into the back seat. She asked if Daddy was coming. I said Daddy was busy. She asked if Daddy was mad. I told her Daddy was tired and needed space. Mila asked why Daddy slept in the other room. I said he chose it because he liked to be dramatic. Mila said she did not like it. I told her families had ups and downs. She asked if we were still a family. I said yes, but my voice sounded thin, and I hated that it sounded thin. On the way home, Mila dropped her drawing pad on the floor. When I reached back to grab it, I saw her small hand clutching a paper from school about an upcoming event. It listed parent, guardian, volunteer slots. I thought of Ethan's careful tone and felt a wave of irritation. I told myself he would try to look like the hero there too. At home, I saw Ethan's car already in the driveway, angled toward the street like he might leave easily. Inside, the house smelled faintly like toner. The office corner was tidier than usual. A new stack of folders sat on a shelf. I saw labels like household and medical, and one that simply said Archive A. I asked Ethan why he was doing this. He said he was organizing. I asked if he was planning something. He said he was planning for stability. I went to the kitchen and opened the cabinet. The mug setup was different again. 2 mugs, 2 sides. It looked silly, like a symbol, and I hated that I noticed it every time now. Ethan asked how Mila's day was. I said fine. He asked if she mentioned anything. I said she asked questions, because he made things weird. He said he did not want Mila in the middle. I said then he should stop acting like I was the enemy. He asked if I could stop posting about him online. I said I had a right to share my life. He asked if I understood how it could affect Mila. I said he was using Mila to scare me. He said he was not scaring me, he was warning me. He said he wanted things handled calmly. I told him he was acting like a lawyer. He did not react to that. He just looked at me in a way that felt measured. Later, we went to the grocery store because we needed a few things. Mila walked between us, holding the cart handle. At checkout, I tapped my card like I always did. The screen beeped and showed an error. I tried again. Same error. The cashier looked at me. I felt heat rise in my face. Ethan stepped forward and paid without a word. He did it like it was normal. The cashier handed him the receipt. I watched the total and the timestamp print at the bottom, like a tiny record. In the parking lot, I asked Ethan what happened to my card. He said he had moved some automatic payments and adjusted limits for safety. I asked what safety meant. He said it meant bills got paid and Mila stayed steady. I told him he was trying to trap me. He asked how paying bills trapped me. I said he was controlling money to control me. He said he was protecting our household from chaos. I laughed and said he made chaos by treating me like a risk. That night, after Mila fell asleep, Ethan's phone chimed with a calendar alert. I saw the screen flash for a second before he turned it down. It said, meeting, personal, and a time in the morning. I asked who he was meeting. He said it was private. I said marriage had no private. He said healthy boundaries did. In the hallway, I heard a low shredder hum for a few seconds, then stop. I walked toward the office corner, but the door was already closed. From inside, I heard a soft cloud sync sound, like a device confirming an upload. I stood there and told myself he was just being dramatic, but my stomach felt cold anyway, because for the first time, it did not feel like Ethan was reacting to me. It felt like he was preparing for me. I did not sleep well after the grocery store. My mind kept replaying the beep at the card reader and the way Ethan paid without looking at me. It felt like a quiet slap, but also like a warning. I told myself he wanted to embarrass me. I told myself he wanted me to feel small so I would behave. That story kept me warm, like a blanket. If I accepted that he was protecting the house, then I would have to admit I was the risk. In the morning, Ethan moved through the kitchen like a person in a routine he trusted. He packed Mila's lunch again. He checked her school paper and wrote something on it with a pen. I asked what he was doing. He said he was confirming dates. I asked why he cared so much now. He said he always cared, but now he was being careful. I asked if he thought I was careless. He said he thought we were both stressed and needed structure. He asked what time I would be home after work. I said I did not know. He asked if I could at least text by 5 so Mila's evening would be steady. I said he was acting like a schedule boss again. He said he was acting like a father. I said he loved that word because it made him look clean. At work, I messaged Cole for comfort. I told myself it was normal because my husband was cold. Cole asked if I wanted to meet after work. I said I might. He asked if Ethan was still punishing me. I said yes, and I typed a long paragraph about how Ethan controlled money and watched my moves. I left out the parts where I lied about coffee and where I posted clips to shame him. I kept the story simple and sharp, like a blade. In the afternoon, my mum called. She asked if I was okay and said she saw more comments on my gas station post. She said people were on my side. She said I should not let Ethan scare me. I told her Ethan was not scaring me. I told her Ethan was trying to play the victim. My mum asked if I wanted her to talk to him. I said no, because I wanted Ethan to feel alone. I did not say that out loud. I said I did not want drama. When I got home, the house looked too neat. The entry table had a small stack of folders. One said household, one said utilities, one said bank. I touched the corner of the bank folder and felt a strange anger, like he was touching my life without permission. Ethan walked out of the guest room holding a plain notebook. He closed it when he saw me. He asked how my day was. I said fine. He asked if I could talk for 10 minutes after Mila ate. I said he always wanted to talk like it was a meeting. At dinner, Mila told us about a class activity. Ethan asked what she liked best. Mila said she liked when everyone shared crayons. Ethan smiled and said sharing was good. I watched them and felt annoyed by the calm. I wanted Ethan to look guilty. I wanted him to look like the bad man from my story. He looked like a normal dad. After Mila went to her room, Ethan asked if we could sit at the table. I sat down with my arms crossed, ready to win. Ethan asked if I was seeing someone. The question landed heavy. He did not say it with rage. He said it like he wanted a clear answer. That made it scarier. I laughed and asked why he was accusing me. He said he was not accusing, he was asking. I said he was paranoid. He said he noticed patterns. I asked what patterns. He said I had more late days, more vague answers, and more time away that did not match the calendar. I said he was tracking me again. He said he was noticing, not tracking. He asked if I could stop posting about him online. I said I had a right to my voice. He said it was not only about my voice, it was about Mila's future. I told him he was using Mila again. He said he was protecting her from chaos. I said he called everything I did chaos. He said no, he called uncertainty chaos. He said Mila needed predictability. I felt my control slipping, so I grabbed the old weapon. I brought up the gas station. I said he embarrassed me there by walking away like I was nothing. I said he made me look crazy in public. He asked what I wanted him to do that day. I said I wanted him to listen. He asked if listening meant begging. I said he always twisted my words. He said he was trying to understand what would ever be enough for me. I leaned forward and said maybe I should have left him there. I said maybe that would have taught him. Ethan went still. He asked if I was serious. I said I was just speaking the truth. I said I was tired of carrying him. He asked what I meant by carrying him. I said I carried the feelings, the plans, the social life, everything. He said he paid bills, cooked, cleaned, and showed up for Mila. I said those were basic things and did not count. He asked what counted. I said respect followed results, and I had results. I said he acted like he was the prize, but he was not. Ethan looked down at the table for a moment. I thought he was about to snap. I wanted him to snap. I wanted proof. My phone sat close to my hand, face down, like a tool. I told myself I was not planning anything. I was. Ethan asked if I could tell him, clearly, if I had been faithful. I said he was obsessed with control. He said it was not control, it was consent. He said a marriage needed truth. I said he never cared about truth when it was my truth. He asked what my truth was. I said my truth was that he stopped making me feel wanted. He asked when that happened. I said it happened when he started acting like my parent, checking times and asking questions. He said he asked questions because my answers changed. I said my answers changed because he made me nervous. He told me he did not want to fight in front of Mila anymore. I said Mila was fine. He said Mila was not fine. He said she asked him if we would still live together. That hit me, but I did not show it. I said Mila asked because he acted distant. He said he acted distant because every talk turned into a trap. I stood up and said I needed air. I walked to the front door, grabbed my keys, and told him I would go for a drive. He asked where I was going. I said he did not get to ask. He said he needed to know for Mila's safety. I said he was controlling again. He said he was responsible. I said those were the same word, just dressed different. In the driveway, I turned toward the car and said I could go back to that gas station right now and leave him there for real. I said it like I was daring him. I waited for him to shout. I waited for him to grab my arm. I waited for anything that would make my story true. He did none of it. He stood by the door frame and asked if I was done threatening him. I said I was not threatening, I was speaking. He said it felt like threats. I said he was too sensitive. He asked if I could stop rewriting harm as humor. Then he said calmly that he would handle this properly. He turned, walked back to the guest room, and I heard the locked drawer click. I went to work the next morning like I could still outtalk reality. I wore a clean blouse and a bright face. I told myself Ethan's properly line was just another performance. I told myself he would cool down and come back to normal. I checked my phone at my desk and saw he had not texted me. That should have felt peaceful, but it felt like a door had closed. Around 11, my manager said HR wanted a quick word with me. I acted surprised, like I did nothing wrong. I walked down the hall with my badge swinging and my stomach tight. In the HR room, a woman sat with a folder and a calm expression. Another staff member stood near the door like a witness. The HR woman said she needed to confirm my schedule for the last few weeks. She said there were questions about my time and location during work hours. I asked who was questioning me. She said it was a compliance check, not a personal attack. I said it felt personal. She asked if I'd been using work time for non-work meetings. I said no. She asked if I had met a vendor off-site without logging it. I said I had normal lunches. She said they would follow up. When I left that room, my hands shook. I told myself Ethan had called them. I told myself he was trying to destroy my job. I told myself he was proving he was the villain. I wanted that story to be true, because the other story was that my actions had a shape and a cost. At lunch, I texted my mum. I said Ethan was escalating. She wrote back fast and said I should not let him scare me. She said I should go public again. I stared at that message and felt a strange pause. Public had worked before. Public gave me a crowd. But now the crowd felt thin. It was easy to cheer for a clip. It was harder to cheer against paperwork. After work, I drove to the courthouse because my mum said I should get ahead of it. I told myself I was going there to protect myself. I told myself I was going there to show strength. The building was plain and bright inside. People sat on hard benches. A security guard watched the line. It smelled like paper and floor cleaner. I stood near the information desk and asked where someone went to ask about family stuff. The clerk told me which window to try. I walked there and waited. My phone kept lighting up with notifications from my old post, but now the comments felt far away. Then I saw Ethan. He was not alone. His father, Gordon, stood a few steps behind him. Ethan held a slim folder. He wore the same calm face he wore when he drove, both hands on the wheel, like he could keep a crash from happening by staying steady. I walked toward him fast. I asked what he was doing here. He said he was here for Mila. I asked if he really brought his dad. He said his dad came for support. I said he was making a show. Ethan said he was following a process. A man in a plain suit stepped between us. He asked if I was Evadne Price. I said yes, and I asked who he was. He said he was there to serve documents. I laughed once and said this was insane. He said he needed to confirm my identity. I said everyone could see me, so yes, it was me. He handed me a packet. The top page had my name and Ethan's name. I saw the words for divorce and temporary orders. I felt heat rush into my face, then cold in my hands. I flipped pages too fast. I saw a schedule with days and times. I saw language about staying civil, about no harassment, about not posting private family matters online. I saw a line that said the child's routine would be protected. It said exchanges would happen through school pickup when possible. I looked up at Ethan and asked if he really did this. He said he did it properly, like he told me. I said he was punishing me. He said he was protecting Mila and himself. I said he could have talked to me. He said he tried, and I turned every talk into a trap. The man in the suit pointed to a section and said the orders were effective now. He said I needed to read them. He said I could not ignore them. I asked where Mila was. Ethan said she was safe and not here. He said she was at school. I asked if I could still pick her up. Ethan looked down at his phone. He said the school had already been notified of today's pickup change. He said it was part of the temporary plan. He did not smile. He did not gloat. He just stood there like a person who had finally stopped bleeding. My phone buzzed. A school message popped up on my screen. It confirmed that Evadne Price was the authorized pickup parent for Mila today. I stared at the message, then at the packet in my hands, then at Ethan's calm face, and I could not find a sentence that would rewrite it.